You got to go and play your schedule. You always have to do that. They've been very consistent, I think, for the most part. This is a good trend for the Diamondbacks right now.
I remember, I'm sure everybody remembers, the game on May 31st in New York against the Mets, okay? So it's a Friday game. Zach Gallen goes on the injured list that afternoon. They put up 9, but still lose to the Mets 10-9. And at that point, you're 7 games below 500, and that's not a great place to be.
You know, that makes me nervous.
Yes.
When you start talking 7, 8 games below.
Then you're drifting away from where you need to be.
You're drifting away from that 500 mark, yes.
Since that moment, they are 12-6. And as a result, they have won or tied their last 6 series. Now, they ended up winning the next 2 against the Mets, so they split that 4-game series. They won the series with the Giants, split with the Padres, won the series over the Angels, over the White Sox, and now over the Nationals, who, by the way, were a half game ahead of the D-backs coming into this series, too, in the wild card race. So that wasn't just, hey, we beat some random team. That was a more important series than, like, the White Sox or the Angels ones were. And now you're 37-38, and you're still doing it without 60% of your starting rotation.
See, that is the thing right there. When I'm talking about that 500 mark, you know, it's still with the injuries in mind. I mean, what they have suffered right now, when you've got a team that is built on pitching and defense for the most part. Now, I know the freaky Mike Hazen went out and really improved.
Freaky Mike Hazen.
That's right. Wheeling and dealing. Went out and was wheeling and dealing.
As he does.
In the offseason. And really, I think, improved this everyday lineup tremendously. But again, we haven't really seen it because of all the injuries so far. And the one big benefit so far is Jake McCarthy.
Yeah.
The one big benefit. And I also think, too, Brandon Pfaadt. I think Brandon Pfaadt as well, Luke.
You gotta fight!
That's right.
For your right!
It's a party! And I didn't even say that so we could actually play the Brandon Pfaadt sounder. Can I just say that I think the load of responsibility that has been heaped on Brandon Pfaadt. Hey, Brandon, you know what? We're going to need you. We're going to need you to pitch really, really well. Now, listen, I know
Brandon,
that
you're
struggled.
the vet of the rotation now.
Yeah,
sorry.
Exactly. And I know that he struggled late in his last outing in Game 2 of this series right here, right? But, man.
Still a good outing.
It was still a good outing, and he was nails from the beginning. Brandon Pfaadt was the difference in that game until he ran into that 6th inning and it got a little sideways on him, which he is wont to do from time to time.
Still gave him a quality start. Didn't strike anybody out. But, I mean, I don't think anybody looks at that game yesterday and says, wow, they lost because Brandon Pfaadt couldn't pitch a shutout.
Yes.
Because they didn't score any runs yesterday. Had just the one run. But today they win 5-2. Jake McCarthy continues, as you mentioned, somebody that is making the most of this opportunity. You know, this is why sports are great, right? Like, I hate that Alek Thomas still isn't playing for the Diamondbacks, and it doesn't sound like it's all that close yet. Still, I don't know.
Please don't say it. I mean, we in prehab, ladies and gentlemen. We have this meeting called prehab, where you actually go into this office and suddenly you start talking about.
Not even sure whose office it is.
What are we going to? It's just somebody's, and it's an office that actually has a door. And, you know, you go in there and there's some privacy, as we are wont to be. And suddenly you start talking about, what are you going to talk about during the show? And, that comes up and it just bums you out. I still cannot believe the latest that is out there in regard to Alek Thomas and his hamstring.
Yeah, well, I can't even fully interpret it because he's in the Arizona Complex League. This is how many baseball leagues we have in Arizona. It's not even the Arizona Fall League. It's the Arizona Complex League. This is why ASU should be in the College World Series every year.
I mean, of course, the Complex League is not the Compound League.
No, it's not. You could start your own league and have the Arizona Compound League.
It's not the Simple League.
It's not.
It's not the Compound League.
No, it's not either.
It's the Complex.
It's the Complex
League. Interesting.
Yes. I don't know if it's supposed to be meaning complicated or just a baseball complex, but either way.
What, Mel? What were you going to say?
I just was wondering how Tuesday swim night was, speaking of the compound.
A simple sentence, of course, a compound sentence, and a complex sentence, ladies and gentlemen.
He didn't answer the question about Tuesday swim night.
It was fantastic, might I add.
As Tuesday swim nights often
the
are.
entire family was out there, which was very, very cool.
Can't beat that.
Yeah, and not only that, my daughter's boyfriend was actually out there
Expanded
as well.
family
I'm
now.
just saying. Well, let's not get that carried away.
People
yet.
that know the family.
All right,
how's that?
he's a great kid. I'll tell you that
That's
much.
step one.
And that beats the alternative. Does it not, Basinodians?
If it was the alternative, I'm guessing he wouldn't have been invited to Tuesday swim night at the compound.
I think there's a possibility. You're right.
Pretty strong security at the compound.
So what were you talking about in regard to the D-backs before Mel interrupted?
Because Alek Thomas is playing in the ACL. There was a thought he would be back at AAA Reno by now. Torrey said Torrey said it's going to be through at least Saturday. He's in the ACL, and Derek Hall said we're taking it slow when he talked to Bickley and Murata this morning. So anyway, the point of all that was Jake McCarthy is taking advantage of the situation. This is what's great about sports. Jake McCarthy looked like the odd man out after last year, and partially that was because of injury. Remember, he got hurt right before the playoffs, so he never really had a chance to be a part of that run. All of a sudden, the doors open this year, and he is literally running with it. He had 3 more hits and 2 stolen bases today. The first Diamondback to do that since Corbin Carroll last year.
Yeah, for me right now, this is so cool because he's not just creating chaos. Right now for the Diamondbacks, Jake McCarthy is the chaos.
He's the chaos.
He is the chaos.
He's walking, talking chaos.
And it's what he is doing right now.
I'm an agent of chaos.
I'm so serious.
I'm an agent of chaos.
Yes, you are an agent.
Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's beer.
Is he eating something while he's saying this? You know what I mean? It almost sounded like he was licking his fingers right there.
I think he was.
Don't get me sidetracked on that because Jake McCarthy, I love the fact he's having this bounce back season. He had such an impressive start. Remember? 2 years ago, think about 2022 and Jake McCarthy.
This is what he looked like he was going to be.
Yes.
And then the path to playing time, he struggled. Then he got hurt. The path to playing time looked like it might not be there. There was talk in the offseason of him getting traded. There, depending who you believe, he was offered up to the White Sox in that deal for Christian Mania. They ended up going with Dominic Fletcher instead.
Supposedly, they said they would not trade him.
Yeah,
the Diamondbacks
and then there was that.
Trade him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So either way, he's here now.
We're going to have to get the freaky Mike Hazen on and ask him.
He's probably wheeling and
Freaky
dealing.
Mike Hazen.
Hey, Michael.
Wheeling and dealing.
Can I call you Michael? No, he's the freaky Mike Hazen, ladies and gentlemen. That's who he is.
See, when you're wheeling and dealing, you also know when not to wheel and deal. And he held on to Jake McCarthy for a reason.
That's exactly right. McCarthy right now, I think he's hitting 300. I think he's, if I'm not mistaken, give it to me. Is he
298?
298.
Oh,
okay, he was hitting 300. They must have got him out on his last at bat.
Yeah,
because he had 3 hits today. Okay, 3 more hits today. Basically,
if this was Price is Right, you would lose everything because you went over.
And the chaos was so obvious. 2 more stolen bases, courtesy of Jake McCarthy right now. Corbin, interestingly enough, still leads the team with 13 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Jake McCarthy has 12.
By the way, Corbin Carroll, he got in the game late today, but in the first 2 games, back from the injury, even though he never missed a game, he ended up going, 3 for 7 with a double and a triple?
Yeah.
Like, he's in the middle of everything now. Here's McCarthy after the game today talking about the base running.
Core's pretty quick to the plate. I think it's about getting good jumps and picking the right times. I got picked off 2 days ago, so try to limit when we do that. But, again, I just think sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get caught stealing. Sometimes you get picked off. But I think our MO is being aggressive. So, every now and then I think we make outs in the base path. But I think that's kind of the give and take of being an aggressive team. And, when it works for us, I think, we put up runs. And I think our pitchers appreciate that. So I just think it makes us harder to beat.
Yeah, is Torrey staring at you as you say that?
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Can you imagine? You were gonna say that too.
Well, I was gonna say, I understand sometimes you get caught stealing, right? If you're gonna run, but if you get picked off on this Diamondbacks team, I feel like you have a conversation with Torrey afterwards.
Yes, and can I also say this though? This is what's fascinating about it. This great. I see Mike Hazen. I see the freaky Mike Hazen out there going, yes,
run,
yes. You know what I mean? Not face down on the living room floor, not face down base. I see him up, yes, pumping the fist when the Diamondbacks steal a base. I'm just saying.
That's the way he likes
now.
to play.
You can't run into outs. You got to be smart about it, of course. But man, the chaos. That's who this team is.
They look a lot more like the 2023 Diamondbacks lately.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.